Good morning, viewers. This is your Inside Sports Gambia. We are here today with a veteran athlete and instructor by the name David Turner. David Turner is someone who is well known when it comes to athletics, and today our discussion will be based on athletics. Mr. Turner is here with us. We will give him the forum to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello, good morning, viewers and followers. This is your main man in sports, Mr. Jarvis Stoner, a national coach, lecturer, instructor, and also a veteran athlete, as mentioned.
Viewers, to just remind you guys, this is Inside Sport Gambia, a new program in the that is Vision TV. Vision TV is the TV that is bringing you all the latest happening in various disciplines. That is sports, being it athletics, being it football, volleyball, and other sporting disciplines. And today we will engage Mr. Turner as to how was athletics in his time and right now in this country.
Yeah, definitely. If you ask that question, I will be very glad to answer because athletics nowadays and athletics before is quite different. Because during our days, we have less opportunities, like we have less chances and not much exposure as compared to the days of today. Because in today's athletics or today's sports, you have chances, you have options, and then you have opportunities that can make you to be an elite athlete, different from our days whereby we had only limited chances and opportunities and only few were able to have best use of these chances.
Mr. Turner, to take you back to the Independence Stadium, we have just seen there is a setback when it comes to its renovation. How is that going to affect athletics in this country?
Definitely, it has affected athletics a lot because that is the only venue that we have to showcase our talent when it comes to standardization. Because we only have one independent stadium, and if that stadium is not accessible for athletes and they are training, it will be very difficult for them to know their standards, like whether they are improving or they are coming down. So, on that note, the renovation of the stadium has affected athletes a lot in the Gambia. Most of them have to travel all the way to Senegal to participate in their national championship. That is, if you have a team in Senegal and you have the finance to take you to Senegal and makes you to stay there, then it will be all right for you. But other than that, definitely we are anticipating on the fast track of the renovation of the stadium so that we can have our athletics back and then we can have our results back and then we can have our competitions standard, as you know.
After knowing that the renovation is still something that we are yet to reap its success, we have seen last year that is the inter schools was held at the Birkama. That is Bottrop Senior Secondary School, where the competition was held. What difficulties did you guys encounter when it comes to that sporting activity that you held at the Bottrop Senior Secondary School?
Yeah, first of all, I can say that Bottrop is a field and it's not a standard athletics arena. That is number one, because the field, the ground is not level. And it is not safe for athletes to train for the whole season and then you go and take them to run in a place whereby it is not level. You have potholes, you have holes, and then the lines are not even straight. But nonetheless, they just wanted to make sure that they have this competition. But there are so many difficulties when it comes to athletics to be held in a non-suitable arena. Not only Bottrop. During the inter-schools regional hits, they were facing the same difficulties when it comes to security. For you to secure the athletes and the fans, you can see the distance between the fans base and the running area. It is a very limited area. Last year, this is what happened until I guess it was an issue about Nusrat and Jamisa, or I think one of these schools, Mahat, when they had that confrontation. Because of, you can see that that types of fields are not suitable for athletics, because anything can happen. You cannot secure, you cannot guarantee the safety of the athletes, number one. Number two, the health and the success of the athletes are under threat because of the standard field dimension is not available. The security for the athletes is not there. The field or the area is not even conducive for those type of activities. Because when you talk of athletics, athletics is different from all other sports like football, volleyball, and basketball, whereby you can have it in an open environment with the ring and the facilities. But if you talk of athletics, even the ground that you should be running should be all level. If not, athletes will have advantage over each other. The distance will not be equal, and then they were not running 100-meter standard, they were not running 200-meter standard, they were not running 400-meter standard. All the events that were run there have been compromised due to the nature of the field, and definitely it's not conducive as mentioned.
After saying that those athletes were not running standards, do you think those athletes, if they go outside, whereby athletes need to participate based on standard, how is this going to affect them?
It is going to affect them because of, number one, the athletics is done on a synthetic rubberized portion, a track. So if you are fond of running on the sand, and then you go and meet athletes who have been conditioned in a different environment in the standard and required facility, definitely before you get used to that, it will take time. And there are certain training, certain programs for you to improve your speed, your acceleration, your techniques. It needs to be done in a standard running area. So definitely athletes face a lot of difficulties because of they are not conditioned under the required facility that they need to be. So whenever they go out, it's just like the passion they have, and then the determination, and then the perseverance. That is what makes them to succeed. And we are the other advantage that we have is we are very close to Senegal. And most of these athletes, they have clubs in Senegal. Senegal, they have a national athletics league, just like football. Every end of month, they will have their competition. So those who are in Senegal, the teams will send in their fares, and then they can use that money to finance their transport to Senegal, and they can even train there within a week before the competition. But definitely, other than that, it is affecting our athletes a lot because of they are not having the required materials, the required environment. Imagine we only have one stadium in the Gambia. From Banjul to Basse, all athletes, if you want to be a standard and an elite athlete, you have to come to Combo, which is not right, number one. But nonetheless, this is what we can do. It is beyond our powers and it is beyond our jurisdiction because this is supposed to be a government complemented effort. They're supposed to build stadiums, they're supposed to build grounds, they're supposed to build fields for these youths who have the passion in sports, especially athletics, to be able to showcase their talent.
To remind you, you're watching Vision TV with Lamin Manneh in your Inside Sport program. Mr. Tona, when it comes to capacity building, how are you people building the capacity of young coaches that are entrusted to coach young athletes in this country?
Yeah, capacity building is another constraint that we have been yelling for. Because if you see that most of our athletics coaches, they don't even have the level one. Majority, I can say, because whenever I talk of athletics, I talk of school sports. Because we have 95% of the Gambian athletes are all students and are from school sports. So if these teachers or these coaches who normally coach these athletes are not given opportunity to go and study and read to come and impact on the performance of these athletes, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to get to the higher stage and to have a smooth transition. If you look at Gambian athletes, there comes a time whereby they are stagnant in one station or in one transition. We don't have problem in juniors, we don't have problem in youth, but when we come to the senior, that is where the problem is. And because of we don't have adequate experienced personnel to train them, to coach them, to nurture them for their anticipating results. Because if you look at the Gambia here, the highest level is like level 3. And it's only 1 or 2 people who got that in the whole Gambia. When you have thousands of athletes and you have only 2 coaches with level 3, and you have few of them with above level 3, which is a university degree in athletics, it's only 2, which is Mam Kewe Sise, who is appointed as a national coach taking care of field events now. And I can say myself, because we are the only 2 individuals who studied athletics as a career in our university, and you have it as your major, and then it is above level 3 when it comes to classification of coaching license. So you can see that a room of improvement is needed. We have to give chances to these young coaches to go and expose their talent, to train, to learn, to study, because sports is a science. You cannot be a coach without having the capacity or the knowledge. And that knowledge is gained in a center where you need to go and study and learn, both practical and theory. It's not only about the theoretical aspect or the practical aspect. You have to combine both so that it will be balanced to have your desired results. And definitely Gambia is not giving, not only athletics, I can say sports, scholarships for people to go and read and come back and do better for our nation. This is what is definitely setting back the coaches of athletics, because they don't have anywhere to go apart from the Gambia College, which is offering the highest certificate in sports in the Gambia. Because if you look at the advanced diploma secondary, it is higher than even GFF B license. Because if you look at the duration, you look at the courses, you look at the content. But when these teachers come to the field, definitely they are not taken care of. They have looked low upon, they have been classified very low, which is not supposed to be the case. Because if you don't have an individual who is a technician, it will be very difficult for you to develop or excel in any sports, especially athletics, which is a technical game. It involves a lot of techniques and few tactics. When you talk of tactics, these are the systems or the measures you use, but the techniques, these are the abilities that makes you overcome your opponent and to have a better result. Definitely.
Yeah, known fully that some of the authorities that are entrusted to run sports in this country don't have that much knowledge when it comes to the sport that they're entrusted to run.
Exactly.
You as a coach, as a veteran athlete, did you people ever prepare policies and programs that you would think if they use, it will benefit athletics in this country?
Definitely, we have been doing that for the past years. Let me give you an example. I wrote my thesis, my university thesis, on the development of the phase of acceleration of Gambian youth athletes. This is from 15 to 26 years. Their acceleration phase, the place where they're going to increase their sports. And that is a long-term athletics developmental program, a project for 4 years that is supposed to be implemented. But when I bring it here, when I submit it to the ministry, to the GAA, to the GNOSC, to the Sports Council, all these individuals, they know. But nothing has been done. We have another individual, Mood Njai, who is in the US, who has defended his thesis in Lausanne in the Olympic Solidarity Center. He also did something in long-term athletics developmental plan. These are programs that need to be implemented by the government or the associations that are aligned with it. But if you bring these things and they are not catered for, they are not looked after because of maybe the personnel who are in charge don't have any interest in it. Definitely, it will not be taken care of. We have tried to do programs for teachers and coaches to elevate their performance and their results. For example, the Gambia PE Teachers Association, they normally organize training for these teachers and coaches to have training in basic different sports in order to make sure that when they go back to their regions and their schools, it will be implemented. But for us, we find it very, very, very difficult for our stakeholders, especially the GAA and the GNOSC and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, to come up with initiative to help certain sports. If you look at volleyball, volleyball is moving because of a simple reason. They have technical assistance, they have financial assistance from the government, from the ministry, and from the ambassador of sports, who is Tijan Jaite. If you look at volleyball, they have so many individuals who they hired from Italy, from Europe to come and help them. And also they have been provided with chances and opportunities to go and study. If you look at Alaji Sise, their technical director on nature, he has a high level of certificate. If you look at Pabaro, you look at the likes of their coaches, they are making sure that they are elevating the capacity of their coaches, their trainers, and their stakeholders. And this is why it is developing. And they are seeing the results. They just concluded a championship and they qualified for the highest championship. So definitely, we athletics, we also need these opportunities and these chances so that we can expose these teachers, these coaches, these trainers to go outside, study, come back and impact on the performance of the athletes that are on the ground.
What do you have to respond to those athletes who are currently at the Gambia College, and sometimes we call them junior athletes? They're saying when it comes to benefiting from scholarships, there are bias because they are not benefiting from the scholarship that athletes are benefiting from. What do you have to respond?
Yeah, definitely. If you look at that scholarship that athletes are benefiting from, that one is different from the one the Gambia College students are anticipating to have. Because of these scholarships, you have performance scholarship, whereby there are some clubs and teams that are only interested in your performance. So if they see your results and you convince them, they can cope you in their team or in their club. But if you want to talk of university scholarship, these are two requirements that you need. You need performance and you need academics. Most of the Gambia College students, they have the academic requirements, but the performance requirements is what is rendering them. And most of these national athletes too, they have the performance requirements, but they don't have the academic requirements. So this is why athletic scholarship has been stagnant since, I can say, in 2012 when we graduated. 2012 to 2023, we are talking of how many years? Approximately 11 years. So you need to have these two, both performance and academics. Nowadays, if you have performance alone, you can get away with it because clubs and teams can come and buy you for you to just compete for them. But universities, whenever they take you, is for both academics and for you to perform for them. If you perform, if you don't meet the academic requirements, it is very difficult for you to pursue your career because they have an athletics scholarship in America for the past 4 years. And it only requires how much? 4 credits. It is very difficult for these grade 12 students, to have 4 credits and be a good athlete. Most of these athletes are only concentrate on running, not forgetting that there might come a time you will not be able to run. Look at us today. If at all we were not academically qualified, then today we would be running for our daily bread. But if you want to tell them, and this is what I have been always anticipating to teachers who train these students, make sure that they have academics, make sure they go to school, make sure they read, make sure they pass their exams, make sure they get the requirements that will get them to universities and colleges abroad like other countries. You look at other third world countries like Jamaica. I always compare Gambia to Jamaica because I have been there and I know that we are similar. But they are very, very serious when it comes to academics. But here for us, we think that sports is only performance. You don't need to read, you don't need to study. When you are reading, when you are studying, you have a higher advantage of mastering new techniques, of understanding your training, of understanding your methodology of training. But if you are not that wise academically, it's always difficult for you to master and to get what the coach or the trainer is trying to put in you.
You go to some schools, you will see students who are athletes in those schools will only be seen when it is inter schools. What advice do you have for those kind of students who only think they are going to school is purposely to represent schools when it is inter school?
Definitely, I don't blame the students 100% because these are adolescents. These are very young boys and girls who are ignorant of what they are doing. But the teacher or the coach or the school administration should always make sure that these students, they have the academic requirements, the academic foundations, so that they can represent the Gambia and they can represent themselves, because school is just for a period. After grade 12, you are done. And if you don't have a good results after grade 12, where are you to find yourself? You will not even have a simple work that can pay you what will benefit you and your family. So the students, for me, I always advise them. I always give them examples of myself, Musa King, Mam Kewe, and the likes. Because if at all we were only running, we were only doing athletics, performance-wise, without focusing on our academics, today it will be a different day. Sometimes we go to competitions, international competitions, and then Gambian athletes, they perform exceptionally well, and journalists will invite them just to give them a simple interview. It's a disgrace. They will be running away from the journalists because they will not be able to express themselves even in correct, simple English terms. To express yourself is very, very difficult because you are only focusing on training. You are not going to school. And they don't know that if you are focusing on academics and training, you have more advantage because the body is a system that requires adoption. You yourself, you will know that this is how my body should adopt and this is how it should react when it comes to certain techniques and trials. So definitely my advice to these athletes, these students, is make sure that you take your education very seriously, the way you take your sports career and passion. Because sports is not even guaranteed. You can have an injury that can threaten your career. You can be good today and then in one day you can lose everything. So it is always very good to have a secondary option, at least, so that when your time elapses to perform, you can come and step in to be an administrator, to be a technician, to be a coach, to be a trainer, to be a journalist, you name it, because sports is wide and diverse.
As a veteran athlete, a lecturer, and a sport instructor, you heard about Sinchu Balia and Bakote of Senior Secondary School. They were suspended and they were fined. But of recent, there is another information that is circulating that these two schools that were suspended and fined, all those suspension and fines were lifted. Can you tell us anything that you might know when it comes to this issue?
Yeah, with regards to that, I have an idea, or I can give some information, but the best is Secondary School Sports Association, which I have been part of, but not of recent. They have a new director of competitions or chairman of competition, Abdul Karim C,
Okay.
who is a very, very vibrant Gambian when it comes to school and grassroots sports. He is doing absolutely amazing and very well, and he has been doing very well in the past. He has been appointed recently, and the first step he took is to lift the ban and the fines of these schools, which is amazing. Because if you look at this ban, for example, that of Sukuta Scan 8, it's just because of few athletes and the whole school is banned. And sports tribunal is not like that. If an athlete commits an error, you have to fine and suspend or ban that athlete, but not the whole school, because it's not only one victimized individual makes the whole school to lose their spot in the competition, and this is killing the spirit of students or school-going athletes. But the step he took is commended. Definitely, we are all happy for him, and we wish him success and guidance, because of this has been affecting a lot of students. For example, Bakote, Sunchobalia, Scan 8, you talk of all the other schools that have been victimized just because of one athlete has been found guilty, then the whole school is banned or suspended.
That is what many people are saying.
Yeah.
How can an individual
Commits an error.
commits an
And
error
you make the whole
and
school
you
to pay for
make
it?
the whole school suffer? How can that be?
Because of this is what I always say. Most of the individuals that made that decision in the secondary school sports are not people who know sports. Because even if you look at secondary school sports association, it's just of recent, their last congress, whereby PE teachers and specialists, they stood up and come and take a responsibility of their own show. You cannot be an arts teacher or SES teacher and you want to come and be an athletics representative in a sporting association. You were never an athlete, number one. You are not an official, number two. You are not a professional, number three. So you have people who went to the college and study physical education and sports, especially athletics. So let them come and take care of these shows, because of if you see all these things are happening, people who are there making this decision don't know. They have limited ideas. They don't even know that in sports, if one commit an felony, is that individual that should be sanctioned, but not the whole school. But now, alhamdulillah, students or PE specialists or sports advocates are more than those who are not sports advocates in that association. So you can see that things are changing. Mm-hmm. Because I cannot be a mechanic, a car mechanic, and you want to take me to an electric workshop to work. I will not be effective. Mm-hmm. And might even cause certain accidents which are very dangerous. But definitely, now we can see that in the executive of the Gambia Secondary School Sports Association, 75% of the executive members are sports advocates, or they are related to sport. If you are not related to sports, leave sports and go and do what you can do best. And let people who can do it come and do it, but don't render them their chance, because this has been happening in Gambia, and I will always advocate for it. PE specialists, those who graduate from the college, should come up and step up and take the Gambian sports into the next sector, especially athletics.
Before athletes supposed to take part in the CAA under 18 and under 20 championship in Zambia, but we came to realize that only 12 tickets were bought in August. We also realized there was another setback when it comes to athletics, whereby athletes supposed to take part in the Commonwealth Games, but it was something that never materialized. What do you think led to this cancellation of athletes who wanted to represent the country in international level, but at the end of the day, their trips are always cancelled?
Definitely, this is always happening to athletics, and I always ask myself the same question: why only athletics? The simple reason is because of we have an executive, the Gambia Athletics Association. Their executive is not functional, they are not operational. I can say this anywhere. Forgive me, Mr. President Kapi, but the people you entrusted to do certain jobs, they are not functional. If you look at the Secretary General, who I will even call his name, Mr. Atto Jackson, is the one who is causing all these delays. Because we all know visa processes and procedures, they take time. You have to submit sometimes 3 months, 90 days before your event. It depends on the program that you are going. So you cannot wait until the last few weeks and then you want to come and tackle these procedures whereby you need a lot of protocol. You need clearance from the Sports Council. You need to take it to Foreign Affairs for them to recommend it, to take it to the embassy. So all these things are things that needs to be tackled ahead, before time. But the moment you are reluctant and you waste 1 minute, it can make the whole nation lose their chances. This is not the first time this is happening to Gambia. 4 or 5 years ago, it happened. Gambia was supposed to go to South Africa for the Africa Senior Championship. And it was only 1 week before the competition, they wanted to process the visa. And certain countries is 14 days minimum, 2 weeks. So these things have been happening. And it is all administrative setbacks. It's the executive, the secretary, and the technical director who are supposed to fast track these processes to make sure that they submit on time, they request on time. Because most of the time they will only wait until it's next month. Like we are in September, we are having competition in October. You go to government and you tell them that I want 28 tickets or 24 tickets. They also need to budget for it. They need to plan, they need to consult because they need to report. So if they come and tell you that, okay, we cannot provide 24, we can only provide 12, there is nothing you can do. You only have to accept. But if you tackle the obstacles earlier, you can always have solutions to the problems before they arise, before due time. But if you wait until the last minute, it will always be like that. It's the same thing that happened to the Commonwealth Youth Olympics, which is one of the biggest youth competitions in the world. And Gambia have attended this. This is the 7th edition, and we have not even attended nothing more than 3 or 4 times. Because of our administrators, they are not doing what they are supposed to do on time. If you look at football, this is not happening to football because football, they know that, you know, when we have a test match, we need to submit this, we need to do this, we need to go to the ministry, we need to go to Sports Council, we need to go to Foreign Affairs so that we can have all our processes and our procedures on point. But for athletics, it is never like that. They will slip. If at all they don't have any personal gain in it, they will even make sure that it is not possible. And it is not telling well. Because I pity these athletes because they train for months for this competition. And international competitions are always very important. This is where your athletes are exposed. This is how they will know their strength. This is how they will know their weakness. And this is how we coaches, we will know the aspects that we need to work on. Because even in athletics, you need to take them even days before the competition so that they can climatize themselves. They can be conditioned to this climatic situation or the condition. But you cannot take them today, today they arrive in the airport, tomorrow they go and compete. It happens. Look at the Commonwealth Games. The same thing. We were late. The World Games in America. We were late. This this Commonwealth Youth Olympics, we were late and it led to the termination of all Gambians because I was even anticipating for beach volleyball to go there and make up highlights and make up a sport, not only athletics, because the whole delegation came back and that is the loss of the government because they already bought their tickets, which are non-refundable, their visa application fees, their allowances, and all the preparations that these athletes did. It will affect them psychologically. Because after that, They will just come and dump you at your home, and they will not even check on you how you are doing, because this is a psychological effect. You are supposed to go to a competition whereby you train for months, and at the last minute they said you are not going. You came back, and no one is even trying to see how best you are doing, how are you coping with the condition and the situation. Definitely our administrators need to do better, especially the executive of the Gambia Athletics Association, the GAA. Their executive, the secretary, from top to bottom, I can say, is non-functional and non-operational. They need to look at themselves properly, because we are relying on them and we are not happy with them. The coaches are not happy with them. The athletes are not happy with them. The whole nation is not happy with them. But if you complain, they will always see you as a rebel. They will see you as an opposition. He is complaining. But we have to complain, because of things are not right. Things are not the way they are supposed to be. We are not heading towards the right direction. And it is affecting us, especially who are solely depending and relying on sports to develop.
Known fully that athletics involves a lot of preparation, a lot of financial expenses, and athletes themselves, plus even their coaches, do spend most of their times, their energy, their resources, and at the end of the day, all those time, resources, energy they wasted will come to zero, because at the end of the day, what they were yearning for, they will not be able to achieve it, because it happened. That is just in the Commonwealth game that athletes supposed to participate. We knew fully coaches did their part, athletes also did their part, but at the end of the day, their trip was cancelled. How is this affecting the coaches and the athletes themselves?
This is what I'm just saying. It is affecting us coaches, because of our work will not be valued, number one, and you will not even, if you were expecting to rate your athlete on that competition and it's failed, definitely you will not be able to rate your athlete. You will not be able to know the weaknesses and the strength of your athletes, because this is supposed to be the direct work of the coach, to evaluate, assess the athlete, to make sure that he or she is improving in performance. Athletes, it affected the athletes more than anyone. For us coaches, I can say it's just a little percentage, but 75% of the affection comes from the athlete. Because of, imagine, anticipating and training and preparing for this competition, which is once a year, because Gambia here, we don't send our athletes to competitions, especially athletics. It's different from football, whereby they have qualifier rounds every year. But for us, they prioritize and cater for only certain championships. For example, Africa Senior Championship, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, Solidarity, Islamic Solidarity Games, because this is where they have their padims. The people who are supposed to facilitate these trips, this is where they have their small tokens. So the other ones, they have no tokens. They don't prioritize it. But definitely this is affecting our athletes a lot, because of psychologically alone. This can make you to lose form. And if an athlete lost form, before you regain your form, it takes a long time. Because you cannot train and anticipate, and you're supposed to go for the competition. All your mates have been there, and you are here in the Gambia because of one individual did not do what he was supposed to do right. That is why all the team have been stagnant in the Gambia. And it's high time we have to address this situation. It is not right. If you are an administrator, you know that you cannot do it. Leave. Let somebody come and do it. If you are an executive member in any sporting association and you know that you are not functioning, you are not operating, please step down, let somebody who can come. But don't be there for your own selfish interest. And then you are affecting the athletes, you are affecting the coaches, you are affecting the whole nation as a whole. Just because of you did not do what you are supposed to do right. Because of looking at these setbacks, it only happens to Gambia, I can say. an individual who is tasked to facilitate certain procedures for our athletics team to leave the Gambia and go and represent the Gambia for another competition, and then you did not do what you are supposed to do, and at the end of the day you get away with it. So the next time you will continue doing it. And this is why I said this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time, this is not the fourth time it has been happening. These things have been happening over decades, I can say. And still now, it's the same individuals who are there. And nothing has been done. For us coaches, we can only complain to journalists, to media houses, or to the media. But there is nothing we can do apart from complaining. And the more you complain, the more you say the truth in Gambian sport, the more they see you as an enemy, and they will try to tarnish your image, they will try to suppress you anyhow. But if you are strong, you are vibrant, then it will be very difficult for them to achieve what they want. But it will also be very difficult for you to achieve what you want, because you are yearning for development. All that we want is exposure, assistance, development of these athletes and coaches. Period. We are not asking for much. And we are not asking for something that the government or our association cannot do. There are funds there, but how to tap these funds? There are project proposals, there are training proposals, capacity building proposals in any sport, not talking of athletics, which is one of the biggest sports in the Olympic chapter. But our administrators who are there are not tapping those funds. They cannot even write a simple project proposal. If you ask GAA, when was the last time they wrote a project proposal to the World Athletics Association or the International Amateur Athletics Association, they will not be able to answer. Because these things are there, grassroots funds, coaches capacity building, a lot, even grounds. We can write a good project proposal and say that we need you to come and assist us to have another stadium. They will, because they know that Gambians are excelling in athletics. If you look at Gina Bass, she's at the top in Gambian athletics.
That's where I want to come to. We having the likes of Gina Bass in the country. Do you think there is any hope of Gambia having loads of Gina Bass in this country?
The way things are going on as of now, it will be very, very, very difficult, because even if you see Gina the way she is excelling, because she is not in the Gambia. Gina has been away for a long time. She was in Senegal in the High Performance Training Center. She had a scholarship, not only her, Gina, Adama Jammeh, Kamara, Aliou Diouf, Senghane Diop. They are now in France. All of them are in France. They have clubs. They have teams that they run for. And then they have professional coaches, high-trained coaches who are helping them to have a smooth transition. But here back home in the Gambia, what do we have? It's a different case. So it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Some of these athletes, they don't even have hopes in athletics nowadays. Because if you can remember Binta Jallow, Bakote High, they are female shot athlete, 100, 200, 400. She is now frustrated at the verge of leaving athletics because of there is no future and good hope for her. Because they only prioritize certain things. Even in Gambia here, our athletics is biased. They only prioritize sprinters. They only cater for sprinters. And if you talk of athletics, you are talking of 43 disciplines, 43 events. And out of these 43, you have 4 categories: sprint, middle distance, and long distance, throws, jumps. But they are only focusing on sprinters, which is not fair. If you look at the Olympics, they always take sprinters. International competition, only sprinters. Outside competition, only sprinters. Scholarship for the High Performance Training Center, all sprinters. So what picture are we painting? Others who are doing long jump, who are doing shot put, who are doing javelin, who are doing triple jump or middle distance or long distance, where are they? If you look at Sambaba, Sambaba should have been taken to a high performance training center long ago, because of the only thing that Sambaba is lacking is high performance training center, because he has the capacity, he has the ability, he has the passion, he has the strength, he has the power, he has the love, but he doesn't have the assistance. Have you ever heard of Sambaba being selected to go and represent the Gambia in an international competition?
No.
Very, very hard. It's only of recent when they had this West African big games, whereby he and Nima Kamara were taken to Cape Verde to go and represent. And that one they have no option, because it's a beach game. It's a long distance. If at all it was a beach athletics, they will take sprinters. Sprinters are not the only good athletes in Gambia. So definitely we can have a lot of Gina Bass, a lot of Ibrahim Kamara, a lot of Adama James, if at all we catered for different sectors in athletics, not only one. And this is the problem of Gambia. We only focus in one area, and if that area is not working, then it will not work. But if at all, if we prioritize 4 areas, we have the representation of sprinters, middle distance runners, long distance runners, long jumpers, high jumpers, triple jumpers, pole vaulters, hurdlers, shot putters, javelin throwers. All this, at least we are talking of more than 10. If you go to an international competition before the next 3 or 4 years, you can see Gambia in the medal podium in World Athletics Championship and Olympics. But as of now, we only stop at semi-finals. For us to reach the finals is even difficult, not talking of grabbing a medal in the final. Just to reach the final is not possible. For how many years? Because of there is something that we're supposed to do that we are not doing right.
What would be your final message to the administrators?
My final message to the administrators is that let them fear God, or let them fear Allah, and try to help us and do the right thing. Because of they are not doing the right thing, they are not leading us towards the right direction. And majority of them are not functional, they are not operational. You only see them when there is competition or occasion. I can say they are occasional administrators or occasional executive members. But how many of them do go to these fields, these parks, they are training to see how these athletes are responding? The sufferation that the coach and the athletes are going through. Because here all the sacrifice is the coach and the athlete. The association will come when they can. The government will come when they are notified and they are supposed to step in. But definitely the sufferation is within the athletes and the coaches and the trainers. So definitely I am appealing to our administrators, our executives, to change their attitude towards sports, to at least have a heart and pity these athletes who are suffering and struggling because of they want to be professionals. They don't even want to be millionaires. They only want to be professionals and represent the Gambia in what they love to do. And it is not a crime. But if you want to reach Banjul and I have my car and I met you at Westfield, I pass you walking. I did not give you a lift. Will it be easy for you to reach by walking?
No.
You will reach Banjul by walking, but very late with tiredness and anything across the road. So definitely, I guess they should change their attitude towards leadership, and the government also should also help us. Please help us. Mr. Bakari Baji, Minister of Sports, I am always appealing to you. Please help us to make sure that we Gambian sports lovers see Gambian sports where it is supposed to be. And the other thing is, like, we want the university to have a sports course, at least to have a career in physical education and sports. This will help coaches and trainers and athletes to be able to elevate and develop, because sports, as I always say, is a science. You need to learn. It's not only training. You need to know how the body responds. You need to know anatomy and physiology. This is applied science. You need to know this reaction of the body, the circulatory system, all these systems, digestive system, the respiratory system, the nervous system, how are they related to activities, how they respond to activities. If you know that, you can easily develop an athlete. But if you don't know that, you will injure the athlete, or you can find a good athlete and you make that athlete to be a very bad athlete. So definitely our problem is we need sports and physical education in the university so that Gambians, coaches and teachers and trainers can go and learn. At the end, when they graduate, they can come and make an impact and develop and improve. And also let them create. If the government cannot provide that, because they will always say we don't have the resources, we don't have the finance, then give scholarships like how you are giving agriculture, how you are giving finance, banking, computer science, because there are certain careers in the next 20 years they will fade away.
Yeah.
Because the way the mall is moving towards, we are moving towards science and engineering. So definitely we need, if the university cannot afford it, let them provide scholarships for Gambians to go outside and go and study. When we have 100 Gambians who go outside, in the next 4 or 5 years, we will not be talking about capacity building or technique or tactical approaches, because those people will be professionals in their area of specialization, coming back, giving back to the nation. But if we don't have that, definitely we will just be in the ladder that we are up and down, up and down.
Thank you, Mr. Tona,
You're welcome.
for having you and honoring the invitation. Viewers, thank you all. I was your host, Lamin Manneh, and here today we were having a discussion with a sport instructor, a Gambia College lecturer, and a veteran athlete who is none other than Mr. Javis Tona. We were engaging him as to some of the challenges and some of the achievements that athletes achieve in this country, that is the Gambia. As we told you earlier, this is your sport program that will come live on Vision TV. Every Monday it will be aired from 11 o'clock. So be the first guy to watch this program. And this program will be here to make sure there'll be no speculation when it comes to sport, because we will try to engage all the administrators, players, coaches in different sporting disciplines ranging from football, athletics, volleyball, and the like. So we thank you all for following this program. I was your host, Lamin Manneh.